This is your daily dose of all things royal.
That's the sound of the police. That's the sound of the beast.
Breaking news, everybody. Joe Biden's daughter, Ashley, referred to the IRS over Meghan Markle's $250,000 donation to her nonprofit. Yes, folks, this just dropped, and I was literally about to post my video, so, it just continues on, but this just came out where Ashley Biden's nonprofit right now is facing an official IRS complaint after failing to publicly disclose its $250,000 donation from Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. A watchdog has contacted the tax agency after the women's wellness space didn't reveal that it had received the money in 2023, when her father was still president, from Archewell Fugazi Public Charity, the Duke and Duchess's own nonprofit. The Conservative National League and Policy Center said Ashley's organization, which is based in Philadelphia and calls itself a trauma-informed wellness center, was in clear violation of reporting the rules. Its legal counselor, Paul Keminar, also questioned how Ashley could claim a salary of just $12.75 per hour and said that her workload could be exaggerated. He demanded that Ashley be deposed and the IRS determine what civil and criminal penalties should be appropriate. Now, for those that don't remember, I did talk about this. I also posted this on X, showcasing that there was a clear discrepancy in the reporting. So not only should they be looking at Ashley Biden, but they should also be looking at Archewell Fugazi Public Charity. Now, I don't know if this post had anything to do with triggering off people looking closer at these numbers, but whatever the case may be, they're looking at them now. And they're not just going to look at Ashley Biden, but they're also going to now look at Archewell, which is what we want. So now what we have to do is continue the momentum and talk about this and share this with people to tell them that, look, Archewell is a scam and they must be investigated. So this wasn't supposed to be the beginning of this video. This just came in. Now on to the rest of the video. Welcome back, my gorgeous, good-looking friends. This woman, who literally can suck the joy out of anything good, Meghan Markle. And I have to give it to her. She has the clickbait hustle down to a science. She's a relentless fame leech that we just can't manage to scrape off her shoes. And here she is at it again, jamming her insufferable media blitz down all our throats like a bad infomercial on repeat. Her latest, soon to be another disaster, Meghan, Confessions of a Founder podcast series, slinks in right after the smoldering train wreck of With Love, Meghan. Can this bitch not take a hint? The room is screaming, no, we don't want it. But she's too busy preening to notice. This promo garbage isn't just flopping hard. It's a middle finger to anyone with functioning brain cells. So let's take a moment and talk about this photo. I mean, seriously, folks, this picture is straight up unhinged. Am I the only one getting this vibe of pure venom and evil oozing from it? She's so desperate to be seen as some fierce female titan, but this ain't it. Nope. It's not screaming, vote for me or bow to my power. Complete misfire. If she's banking on this spiteful scowl to launch her into political glory, she might as well just go ahead and add it to the long list of failures that we have witnessed so far. Now, we'd be so stupid to think that Meghan is doing this all by herself. This isn't some solo act bumbling through this. It's a calculated hit job. The photo shoots, the podcast branding, pitching this garbage to the world and the media. That's a swarm of lackeys and a blueprint more precise than her fake rictus grin. She didn't just whip this up overnight. It's a smug, scheduled assault on the public's last nerve. Her team's in on it, 100%, trolling us like it's their oxygen. She knows we've got her number. Swiping somebody else's podcast title is just her latest petty theft. And she doesn't give a damn. This we know. Her crew's got the cash, the clout, and the balls to stomp all over anyone who squeaks. I mean, look what she did with As Ever and that small business here in New York City. They're too busy counting their dirty money to care what we're retching. But here's the brutal reality to all of this. They love that we all hate it. They fully understand that anger and rage is a cash cow. These soulless, grimy bottom feeders have no shame lying, cheating, stealing, and no doubt in the future most definitely would kill for their gospel. Morals? Nah, that's for suckers who can't afford a publicist. Meghan and her goons are the scum floating on society's toilet bowl. Dangerous, arrogant, and super proud of it. Contrary to what some people may think, Meghan is not some rogue diva pulling this off single-handedly. There's just no way. It's too expensive, as well as it is literally relentless daily. She definitely has a group of people that advise and are deep-pocketed to continue propping up this cultural Marxist propaganda. Now, while we may see her as a laughable failure, wake up. Meghan is laughing harder, straight to the bank, while we're choking on her latest PR stunt. She's not crying into her organic oats over these failures and flops. It fuels her, and whether it be good or bad, it keeps her relevant in the media, taking up space as opposed to talking about other things that these shadowy puppet masters who are bankrolling Meghan are behind, like talking about Epstein and Diddy. Remember, these two massive scandals hovering over Hollywood is literally threatening the whole movie industry. So yeah, let's keep Meghan's ugly-looking, smug face in the public and shove it down our throats while we are busy talking about this as opposed to focusing on other areas, like the money laundering going on with USAID, like Archwell Fugazi Public Charity, like the child trafficking. Don't be dense. You don't hustle suits for 7 years and snag a prince by being a talentless slob. This is all very much deliberate. This woman that's being called Meghan Markle that we've been cursed with, she's a foot soldier in the Obama deep state circus, shoving cultural Marxism down all our throats like a bitter pill. They needed narcissists and sociopaths for this epic wealth heist con, and she swaggered in, conscience-free and ready to roll. No moral compass, just a cold, greedy husk built to exploit and preen. Born that way or beaten into it, who cares? She's a royal-grade parasite thriving on our disgust while we're too busy raging to spot the bigger grift. And I really don't care. To those that want to continue to keep calling me a conspiracy theorist, so far, I have not been wrong in the things and topics that I talk about on this channel. So go ahead. Recognize that we are almost 10 years in with this woman pulling the same BS and nonsense on a daily basis. Bring back your common sense on this one because it's financially unsustainable if these two have been operating independently. Like literally, if we took them at their word saying that they wanted to come over here to be financially independent. There's no way that they would be able to generate all this media on a daily basis. In addition, manage those bots as well as have other people managing websites and Facebook pages and Instagram pages. I mean, this is a massive machine that Meghan and Harry are not solely responsible for. There are people bankrolling these two to do all of this on purpose. Ask yourself this question: how many times has the narrative of Harry and Meghan being strapped for money, almost in some cases as if they're about to go bankrupt? At least every 3 months, we see headlines like that or something about their financial situation. But so far, 10 years later, almost 10 years later, they're still maintaining that same level and aggressiveness with putting themselves out in the media. And that costs money. By now, you would have thought they would have been bankrupt and shoved in a hole somewhere, but they haven't. So, make that make sense. Now, I've said this many times over before, that once you see the deceit and manipulation, you can't unsee it. And when you apply that thought process to now everything moving forward, you realize the whole thing is one big scam. Make no mistake, Meghan Markle, or whoever this woman is a cultural Marxist. And while she continues on her public path of nonsense, behind the scenes quietly, she is working to destroy this country. And I've said it before, they've had successes. Look at how 2020 turned out. Look at how many people got censored and silenced. Think about how much money they were able to siphon, or whatever backroom deals they were able to make. We don't know because we were so distracted by all this other nonsense. And that's the thing that people need to start waking up to. Based off of all the things that have been put out in the media, especially purposely planted rumors about this woman, we have a sort of a construct of who this woman is, but we really don't know. What we can say, though, is based off of her own actions and the things that she has said herself, and for her to be able to go through with it, you can assess and say that this woman is a really hateful and spiteful, toxic, evil woman. And I'm not talking about what Meghan did to her so-called alleged family or the characters that are playing her family. I'm talking about one person in general, and that is the Queen herself. To go ahead and attack the Queen in such a manner and have no remorse or any kind of sentiment of wrongdoing shows that this woman is ruthless and evil to the core. And she was paid to do it. That's the worst thing about all of this. So how do we get this to stop? Well, we have to continue to keep being very vocal about her political ambition, because all of this has been political. This has nothing to do with her wanting to be successful in Hollywood. No. This is definitely political. So say what you want. The only way that this is going to stop, and I've said this before, is either they run out of money, which I was hoping was going to happen at the end of 2023, or, and I think this is the other option, is that they are put away in prison or a mental institution, because they truly are menaces to society right now. Especially this woman that we're calling Meghan Markle. She is literally getting on everyone's last nerve right now. And yesterday, the Babylon Bee wrote this hilarious satirical piece that I want to share with you. The headline alone makes me laugh. It says here, "Enough is enough. Supreme Court rules First Amendment does not apply to Meghan Markle." I mean, we could only wish, right? Of course, this is satire, and it's meant to be taken with a sense of humor, something that Meghan Markle doesn't have, but you'll find it funny. Washington, D.C. In a landmark unanimous decision, the United States Supreme Court ruled that the First Amendment, guaranteeing the right of free speech to American citizens, does not apply to Meghan Markle. The emergency ruling came following outcry over Markle's continual attention-seeking and upheld a ruling made in the court of public opinion that the Duchess of Sussex should shut her yap. The First Amendment is one of the most sacred in our nation, Chief Justice John Roberts wrote in a majority opinion. It is a recognition of the divine rights bestowed upon all men by our Creator. But it is the opinion of the court that Meghan Markle's speech doesn't count. Markle joined a list of other known exceptions to First Amendment protections, such as defamation, fraud, and true threats of violence. Part of the court's decision stemmed from the belief that she is not a genuine person, essentially committing fraud with her very existence and every word she speaks. "There isn't a genuine bone in her body," said Justice Clarence Thomas. "Also, she's really annoying. I feel really bad for Harry." According to insiders, the court decided to take up the case of the People versus Meghan Markle after Justices Amy Coney Barrett, Sonia Sotomayor, Elena Kagan, and Ketanji Brown Jackson watched the Netflix special With Love, Meghan. "If I didn't hate England before, I do now," said Justice Jackson, unaware that Markle is actually American. At publishing time, President Donald Trump had Meghan Markle arrested and charged with crimes against humanity. Geez, if only. Now, the reason why I like this article so much is because you know that this is something that will get under Meghan Markle's skin, because she's always talking about her voice, using her voice. And the fact that the Babylon Bee is joking around about shutting that stupid voice that she has, you know it's going to drive her insane. I'm expecting a clapback by the end of the day. People's going to come out talking about this stupid podcast that's coming out and her using her voice and sharing with us more intimate details so we can see the real Meghan as opposed to the last 25 reiterations of Meghan. No doubt that there will be a clapback coming, because Meghan does believe that she is a gift to this world and her stupid words of wisdom must be listened to. That's why she always needs to have that microphone in hand. Now remember, Meghan is the undefeated champ of being the most disliked celebrity 3 years in a row. She has a title to defend, so she's going to continue continue to keep on getting on our last nerve till the end of time, or as long as she can before she is thrown in jail or a mental institution, because this is where we're at right now. Now, I'm sure Meghan is going to harass us at some point by the end of today, but for now, I'm going to close out this video with this spot-on post. Canel Labelle writes, well, that did not take long. Royal fans have already found where Meg found her new idea of a podcast, and it was nowhere in that empty head of hers. So just today, after failing miserably in ratings for her cooking show, Meghan has come up with a new idea, stolen from a young Black woman by the name of Katie Might, who started being an entrepreneur at the age of 16. Her podcast is named Confession of a Female Founder. Meg's new podcast for Lemonada is called Confession of a Female Founder. This pathological liar and serial plagiarizer need to be shunned and shamed. And I would agree with that. She has zero original ideas. Everything down to her children's name is stolen. My goodness, what level of mental illness are we at? How hard is it to sit down and come up with an idea? She cannot be this talentless and desperate, can she? Meg will always steal from anyone and will always cheat her way up because, as we learned as children, a liar is a cheater and a cheater is a thief. And I would even go as far as saying, in my humble opinion, a thief can be a killer. And I do think that Meghan is capable of that level of desperation, which makes her really dangerous. Now, let me end on this final note here. Meghan Markle is definitely a threat to our society. And I'm not saying that because I, as a female, feel threatened by her. No, I could care less about what this woman does with her life. I just don't want the things that she's doing to be impacting my life, which she clearly has an agenda to be doing. Her influence to not only silence many people and take away their freedom of speech, but also to be funding and supporting a terrorist organization called the Sussex Squad, who actively, on a daily basis, are making death threats to people. You see, these radical leftist lunatics, and that's what Harry and Meghan are, really do have a warped sense on how the world should be. They honestly believe that they are the ruling class and they are the ones to tell us how we should live, what we should think, how we should feel, and what we can have. So essentially stripping away everybody else's right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, while theirs remains untouched. And I know I mentioned that that was going to be my last point before I ended this video, but I lied. There is actually one more thing that I want to talk about, which is this article that came out today in The Mirror with this headline. Prince Harry urged to keep professional separation from Meghan Markle after ill-advised move. And it says in the subheading, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle have taken different routes when it comes to their work, despite both continuing their projects as they focus on their separate brands. I'm not going to go through the article, but I find it interesting that this comes out, especially since Harry has been nowhere in sight since Meghan launched her stupid series, and now with this Lemonada media podcast coming up. Where has he been? I have this feeling that Harry and Meghan have been in the process of separating, and the reason why I think that is not only just this article makes me suspect it, but also their Sussex.com website. Let me show you what I mean. What is very interesting here is that the updates for both Harry and Meghan have only been updating what Prince Harry has been up to. Nothing about Meghan. Normally, we would see her face all over everything, but for whatever reason, there is no announcement about this With Love Meghan series being promoted in the news section for Meghan. Also, you look and see with Harry, everything listed for Harry that he's done or that we're aware of have been documented in his news section. I mean, one would think that Meghan would have all her updates in there, especially since she's launching this new as ever whatever brand in her stinky jam. But nowhere in sight do you see anything mentioned about it. In addition, there is a tab also for Archwell Productions. One would think that she would also advertise With Love Meghan on there. What's really bizarre here is that the only photos that you see of the events are from the Invictus Games, with Meghan barely being shown. Like, Meghan hasn't been removed from the other events, but it's interesting that for the most part now, it's all Harry. You would think that Meghan would want to promote her as ever new endeavor that she's on right now on this website under the news about the Duchess of Sussex, right? Like, one would think that Meghan would take to her own website to put up something about International Women's Day, especially celebrating little Betty and her mom and her being a mom. So could it be in this separation that Harry is now going to use this website as his vehicle to showcase to the world his life of service, otherwise known as fomentarianism and bullshit? I think so. It doesn't appear that Meghan is really invested in this so-called life of service that Harry had initially set out to be, but who knows? I mean, this could all change. Perhaps maybe this information will get people talking, and then Meghan will be forced to provide some type of clapback, and we'll see this site updated like tomorrow. Who knows? This is how these two are. It's always about managing the optics and what they want the public to believe about them when we know what they're telling us is not really what the story is. Now, one would think with all the money that has been wasted on branding, marketing, and PR for these two, someone on their team would have thought to at least at bare minimum included Meghan's Instagram link under her bio. But nope. Meghan's bio, as long as it is, does not even have her updated information. So what does that tell you? It shows you that Meghan has pieced out on supporting whatever it is that they're trying to do with this Sussex brand. And just a side note, because I just caught this, if you look at the last line of the second paragraph where it says here, while there, she double majored in theater and international relations and went on to intern at the U.S. Embassy in Buenos Aires, Argentina, as well as to study abroad in Madrid, Spain. Since when did Meghan go study abroad also in Spain? Is this news to you as it is to me? Or did I miss that somewhere? You see why I don't believe anything that Meghan or the Markles say? Now we have her studying abroad in Madrid, Spain, but Samantha Markle made it sound like she was studying abroad in Argentina. Make your fucking mind up. Anyway, whoever is running the Archewell Fugazi public charity, even though Harry and Meghan are the face of it, is definitely continuing to prey on the youth and pushing this Marxist agenda. Now, I believe this was posted today on the Archewell Fugazi Public Charities website, giving us an update on the Responsible Tech Youth Power Fund. Now, if that doesn't sound like the next-gen Hitler Youth, I don't know what to tell you. But in any case, this is where they are supporting and encouraging and mentoring these young adults to advocate for change, for a better online space, otherwise doing the dirty work for the people like Harry and Meghan and the rest of the globalists who want to take down our First Amendment. These globalist lunatics are not going to stop until they get their way. We're already seeing the threat that our free speech is under, and even more so with what the radical left have been doing to conservative voices in swatting them. I'm not sure if many of you have seen the news about influencers as well as independent journalists who now are being targeted with brutal force, even to a point where last week or this past week, one journalist who worked for Alex Jones was murdered. And it's a result of this ideology that these two have been a part of. Again, this ideology that has been rooted so deeply, not only within our education system, but also in our government, needs to be gutted out because it's dangerous and it's warped. But what do you guys think? Definitely let me know your thoughts below. As always, I will be back with more content. But until then, please be safe, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.
I was such a fraud.